I think, and has also created a book club and some other things that they're doing sort of in an ongoing way as a result of the campaign. So I will pull up your presentation and I'll let you take it away. We're so happy to have you here. I just love having coordinators who have been at past trainings come and share what they are doing. It's super helpful.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm going to share in a different way here so I can see. There we go. It's coming. Okay, how's that? Do you all see? Okay, wonderful.
Well, hello everybody. Thanks for having me. I was here last year at this time about talking about the campaign, and I had just finished it. So, you know, I'll touch on a few things that I did, but then more focus on some outcomes that came out. So I was mentioned, I'm at the City of Minneapolis. I'm the HR Wellness Specialist there. I've been in the role for 2 years, and so I've been a participant in Paths to Positivity prior to being in this role pre-pandemic. So as an employee of the city, I participated in Paths to Positivity when it was run and started in 2018. Thanks. Next slide, please. So we've done the program since 2018. Pre-pandemic, it was in person fully, so that's when I participated in it, which I really loved because then you could come with a coworker and you know, there was some accountability and some connection in that way. Then we all know, as we all went to hybrid and remote. Last year, 2023, we did a hybrid version, and I had just finished it when we started talking about the campaign last year. Next slide. And so what we basically did was we had 3 sessions online, and then we had 1 in person. So trying to bridge that hybrid remote connect to all of the employees. And I kicked it off with a speaker, Molly Raymond, who has spoken here before at Health at Work, and that's how I found out about her. And then she ended up becoming a city employee, so I lucked out. Started that off with talking about the 3 different paths and, you know, encouraging employees to choose one. And one of the things that I really focused on for my campaign was to tell employees that it was really up to them. A self-driven campaign that do what you want to do what you can do, no pressure. And so that was a huge focus of mine. And the way I pretty much wrapped it out is we did something each week along a path, but the predominant amount of information came by a weekly email. So every Monday I'd send an email. Used a lot of the items from the workbook. So it was so great. I didn't have to recreate the wheel. That was the wonderful part about it, that you could grab things that you wanted to use for each path, and I'd send them out in emails. And each week we would have the focus on the either connection, mindfulness, or purpose. And then with each of those online classes per se, I give resources. So grab resources from the materials, but then also had more resources like a list of books that you could read that might be aligned with each path. So that worked really well. And afterwards, I did hear from employees that said, you know, they really appreciated getting all the information because sometimes they were too busy during the workday to participate in the online classes, but at least they would get the follow-up of what was talked about and then all the resources that they could do at their own pace after work in the evening, etc., or when they got around. Next slide, please.
Melody, can I ask you to just speak either louder or to adjust your microphone? People said
sure.
it sounds a little muffled, but I'm having no trouble understanding you.
Okay.
And people can also turn on the captions. Yes, louder would be great.
Okay. So for the 3 weeks, the online classes, can you hear me better now? Okay.
Yes.
I had an on-site consultant that we have through our employee assistance program And she really loved the idea of this whole program, and she loves connection. So she took 1 week and basically did something about connecting, with your colleagues and how important connection is. Another week, I had someone who has done some mindfulness classes with me, Meg Burtis. She led 1 hour of guided mindfulness and what is mindfulness and meditation. So, and then our in-person was purpose board. So I kind of partnered with our learning and development team here. We had not previously really uh, interacted in regard to our wellness and the learning and development, which is more geared towards career development, but we decided to collaborate and it was fantastic. They did in-person purpose boards with employees. It was really great. So next slide, please. And so here's just a picture of the employees coming in person to do purpose boards. It was creative. They interacted. They really had a great time, and it was really awesome. So next slide. And this was just some of the feedback that we got from employees after doing the program. So you can see positive results. And the thing that I think is so fabulous is that, again, you don't recreate the wheel. All of this stuff is at your fingertips. You can grab what you need. So you're not yourself having to create everything, almost like AI before AI. So next slide, please. And so what's next? We had done a survey for our employees about what kinds of things would help counter burnout. And one of the things that came up was, well, so I thought, what about incorporating a book club into Paths to Positivity? Next slide, please. So we picked a book to go with each path. And the people that led my weeks picked them. So Never Eat Alone was for connection. True Refuge was for mindfulness. Speak was for purpose. But then Molly Raymond, in our learning and development, she wanted to jump on board and said, "Can I do a journal book club too?" And so I was like, why not? So we actually had 4. So this was our book club that was tied and spurred off of Paths to Positivity, taking each path. And it was fabulous. Now, mind you, I did have to read all 3 of those books. So I am an avid reader, but I had to cram them in. I had to audio book one of them in order to be done on time. But so then we had a book review. So people had 6 weeks or so to read the book that they chose for their path. And then I set up online book reviews. And I'd say we had about maybe 6 to 8 people in each book review. Molly may have had 15 people sign up for the journal book club, which is a little different. Mine was read the book in one meeting, and Molly did hers with a couple of months meetings so that they could check in on the journal. And I think it was really positive. And from that piece, we now have a standalone book club. So from this book club, people enjoyed it and it has continued. So next slide, please. And so now we have our own book club. We came up with a title, Minneapolis Perspective. Oh, now I can't even remember it. Books and Perspective, something like that. Oh, well, never mind. Anyway, I picked the first book. I might have been a little bit too thinking too big because I picked The Covenant of Water because I really wanted to read it, but for goodness sake, it's 800 pages. But I got people on board. We took 2 months to read that book. And, I really also encouraged employees to use Libby at the library system, to get free digital books and to try Audible in case listening to books is the way you want to go versus reading. And so we did the Covenant of Water. We met once. I think I had about 8 people in that group. Really great. And then we put it out for employees to choose. So the employees now choose the book for the book club. I have 80 people enrolled in the book club. The Midnight Library was the first book chosen by employees. I had never heard of the book. It was fabulous. So if you have read that, um, it was a fantastic book. It was so great. And the thing that was really great about it too, if you have read it, then you know, but if you haven't read it, it does deal with topics of depression or suicide and mental health. And so when the group came to talk about it, it really was such a fantastic connection. We had about 15 people that joined the book talk. Some people got a little teary, people shared. One of the employees had said that her husband struggles a lot with depression, and so she thought that she could recommend this book to him and that that would be helpful. It really was fantastic. I couldn't have been more excited. Now, the book we're reading right now is The Homegoing, and that one is really good. I'm three-fourths through. We meet on that in 2 weeks. And so basically what I do is I email the book club employees, ask for suggestions. Once they give the suggestions, I send out something to vote. And so then employees vote on which book they want to read, and then I take the one that most people have voted and then keep the list going. So after homegoing, we will do the same thing. Now, I don't have, we have a wellness week coming up in June. And so I was kind of on the fence of, can I run Paths to Positivity at the same time as Wellness Week? And so I thought maybe I would pick 3 books along the paths, and that would be how I would do Paths to Positivity. This summer is pick a book for each path, and then you got the whole summer to read, and it would be still kind of in line with that Paths to Positivity, purpose, mindfulness, and connection. Next slide. So I think I already said this part. 86 employees, employees suggest, and it really is making connections with employees. And I think the results speak for itself that people are enjoying it, and we're still doing it. My mindset was if it peters out, it peters out. But right now it's still going strong. So I think my next one is the last slide. Any questions? Anybody has any?
Any questions for Melody? You can unmute or put them in the chat. That was so great. Thank you so much. I love so many good ideas there. Partnering with learning and development, having a different person be kind of in charge of each path, the book club. I got lots of great book ideas to add to my own list now.
Melody, any like warning or pain point? I mean, you sort of alluded to it might fizzle out or whatever, but any other thing that would be good you would have told yourself when you started off?
Well, I wouldn't have chosen the 800-page book. I think I wouldn't have done that, although I did love it, and so did everybody who came. I would have read it anyway, but pain points, I think, to be honest, no. I think it just easily morphed, other than, just maybe a little of the coordination of, running a book club with many, many people and trying to get those suggestions in the voting, maybe, but we have a list now of about 20 books. And so I think it's going well. And I think the more people, we started with about 6 to 8 people in those 3 Paths to Positivity books, and then 15 in the last book club. And then that even included people who said, oh my gosh, I can't make it. That's the hard part, is that I then have to pick one time to meet to talk about the book. Will it work for people? Should I do it in the middle of the day at noon? Would anybody want to do the book club in the evening? And that might be something we could talk about later, doing it after work hours, or if someone works the evening shift, they'd be able to pick it up if I did it later. But you can't be everywhere at once. So I think that's the hard part, splintering it off. But I did just recently ask my CHRO that if I did do the 3 books for this summer, one was a suggestion of hers. I said, would she lead that book review? And so that could be another piece that would really be great, is if you got people in the organization that would also want to lead the book club review versus just me doing them all, spread the love, but also, I think that shows buy-in. So if my Chief Human Resources Officer is willing to lead the book club or the employee book club, I think that's pretty special.
That's super smart too. A couple questions about the book club. You talked a little bit about how it works. Someone was asking, do you have any ground rules? And then the second about the book club and sharing. And then the second one is, do people buy their own book or do you have a budget to purchase them?
When I don't have any ground rules other than, yeah, that'd probably be something good to think about, but I did not have that going into it, just assumed that, and assume, that people would know that it's, you know, books that might be okay for, you know, a wide variety of people. Um, and when I did the past depositivity, I did have a small wellness budget, through Medica. And so I bought about 8 books of each of the 3 paths and then did a raffle for the people that wanted them. Well, I was going to do that, but so few people wanted the actual real book that it worked out. So employees that signed up for the book club during past positivity could get one of the books, but many people do the digital. And then I really tried to highlight the public library so that people wouldn't have to spend. Um, one employee said there was a huge wait list, and so they never got the book. And I really just encouraged everyone, because I did go on for the midnight library, and it might say 2,000 books or 2,000 people are ahead of you for the book. But as long as you put your name in on hold, I'm not kidding you, in a week or two, they'll say your book is ready. So I really did try to encourage people to use the public library system.
That's great. Another question I see is, were there any incentives for participation? I'm assuming that's with the book club or past positivity.
No, no incentives. With past positivity, I really just try to be the cheerleader myself. But I think what I find or was positive for me in my workforce was that piece that was really focused on self-driven. Everybody has a lot going on, everybody's busy, and I really tried to be really forward about you drive your own uh, self-care, well-being. And with the book club, same thing. I said, here's the date, here's the book. Come even if you haven't finished the book. If you haven't started the book, still come. If you've only gotten a quarter of the way, still come. And some people did do that. They came, oh darn, I've only gotten, 10 pages in, but they came anyway. So I think I tried to alleviate that pressure, but no incentives as far as no points or didn't win a prize, other than connecting.
Great. Any other questions? Well, thank you so much, Melody. We really appreciate you sharing your experience. Lots of good ideas, some nice comments in the chat for you. So thanks so